Oh, my friends, it has been a tragic day today. It has been a tragic day. We're down here now in the Smoky Mountains outside of Gatlinburg. And I thought the fight was over. I thought the argument was done. I had made a beef with Louis Rossman, and I thought we had put it to rest. I thought I had agreed that he was the greatest, the most awesome, the most wonderful person out there. I thought finally I could be healthy, knowing that he would not use his voodoo on me. But my friends today, we saw just how Louis doesn't let it lie. He doesn't. So we were sitting there. This morning I put out a video, and on that video I saw a comment from Louis. Right, and so Louis and I haven't been commenting as much on each other's videos just because don't want to make this the fucking Louis Rossman channel. But then I see this comment, so I haven't seen a comment on one of my videos for a little while. And then I go, oh, what is this comment? And I clicked on the comment and I saw the comment and it said, "You are a pixel." P-I-X-E-L. And I just sat there looking at this comment from Louis Rossman going, what does it mean that I'm a pixel? I don't understand. So I asked back, is that a threat? Question mark. Smiley winky face. I put the smiley winky face there. Oh, if I had known then, it was not a threat. It was just a statement of fact. And 2 hours later, my 1-year-old beautiful Ford F-150 was on the back of a flatbed tow truck getting towed to Knoxville, Tennessee because, I don't know, something's fucked up with the transmission. But it's kind of ironic. It is kind of funny. As I say, I've been trying to put this whole Louis Rossman thing to rest a little bit, simply because although it started off as a funny joke, and I still think it is a funny joke, talking about him too much, makes it not so much fun for you folks to listen to. But I did find it interesting today. He puts a comment on my video stating, "You are a pixel," and 2 hours later, I'm sitting in a tow truck driving to Knoxville, Tennessee with my beautiful Ford on the back. Oh well. That's the only thing that I have to say with the Ford F-150, because we got it last year, so it's 1 year old. It's like 1 year old today, or like, I don't know, 1 year and 2 weeks old. But since we've had it, we put about 23,000 miles on it so far, and the transmission is the one that seems to be a little wonky. So before, we had a weird issue with the four-wheel drive, so I turned it into four-wheel drive and then turned it out of four-wheel drive, and then there's like a clicky sound. Clicky, right? I took it to the Ford dealership, and apparently some pressure switch in there failed, and so they fixed it up. And then today, oh my golly, it was not the type of transmission failure you want, because we're driving along, and then all of a sudden all these weird warnings went off. Like, not the normal warnings, like weird warnings, like park assist, downhill park assist failed. Like, okay, I don't care, I'm driving 30 miles an hour, I don't want to park right now, really. But then like all these things would go up, and then the engine would completely stall. And I thought, okay, maybe this is a quirk. But then the fourth time it did it, I realized it wasn't a quirk. So we had to call up. Thankfully, we had like 1 bar of our cell phone service. So we called up, found a Ford dealership that would take us. Then we had to call Ford warranty. I do have to say, Ford warranty is nice, because they pay for the flatbed truck to drive that damn thing an hour. It's like 50 miles away is where the Ford dealership is, and then they're paying for actually another Ford. So ironically, I know it looks the same, but you can tell it's different because it doesn't have a front license plate. But they're also paying for the rental of that Ford. So again, like I say, overall Ford gets a thumbs up. Really don't know what the hell's going on with their transmission, but it's one of those hard things with like big complicated pieces of equipment that you buy. You really want them to work perfectly all the time, but then when they do fail, what are you gonna do? And before anybody's like, well, you could buy a Chevy, I was talking with the tow truck driver, and I was like, is this normal nowadays with these trucks like failing like this? And the tow truck driver said, I do not know if it is true. It is what he said. It is his opinion. It is his rumor. But the tow truck driver said that he actually has a buddy that works for Chevy, and apparently there's some problem with the 2016 Chevys, and so like they were shipping like entire engines to dealerships. Because they already know like the entire engine will fail, so they can just swap out the engine. So again, I know some of you folks will be like, well, Ford sucks, buy a Chevy. It's like, my Chevy sucks. They all suck. That's the whole thing in this modern world. You just don't know what to buy anymore. But anyways, that's what we spent our day doing. I was gonna go on a nice hike today. There's this place called Cades Cove, which is really cool. It's like an old, it's an old area, like an old little town area. So like this, like a lot of the national parks, a lot of people don't realize that the national parks were actually populated. Most of them were actually populated. And then the government took them over and then either kicked people out or gave people leases, like end-of-life leases. And so with Cades Cove is an old like 1800s little town area with like a school and a church and a mill and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go down there. We're gonna do a nice 8.5 mile hike. And then the engine failed. And then we got to go see Knoxville, Tennessee. So anyways, let's go wander a bit. We will show you folks this particular RV park. This is Twin Creeks RV Park. So we're currently in Twin Creeks RV Park, right outside of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Pretty nice. Costs us $59 a night, but has a nice beautiful pool. You'll see it has nice paved spaces. So overall, it's more than I thought I was gonna spend, but you know, not too bad. So yeah, so you folks will actually be able to do like real Let's Lives for a little bit while we were here. Because some people were asking, because I put up the video today, and they said, but Eli, I thought, I thought you were only going to be uploading videos, and there's a lot of people wandering around. I thought you were only going to be uploading videos in 680p or whatever, 640p. And the thing is I will upload videos at 640p, that lower quality, when I am not able to upload videos in 1080p 60 frames per second. The cool thing here with this particular RV park is they've actually got very good internet connection here. So it's like, well, I was able to do a speed test, and it was what was it? It was 10 megabits per second down and 5 megabits per second up. So, you know, that's enough to be able to upload a 1080p 50 frame per second video. So that's what I'll do. So again, as far as the videos are concerned, I will be able to upload them. I will upload the quality that I'm able to upload. If I'm uploading on my LTE connection, then I'll upload the 500 meg version. If I'm able to upload the full 60 frames per second, then I'll upload the 60 frames per second. It really just depends on which RV park we're at. And yeah, that's where it goes. So this is nice. Like if you're gonna go for an RV park, the good RV parks, the really nice RV parks have asphalted. The asphalt parking spaces are the absolute best. And the reason is it may seem cheesy. It may be like, Eli, it's not natural if it's asphalted. But the benefit of asphalted is asphalt keeps its shape. Like an asphalt, like when they flatten this thing out, it will be flat forever and ever, amen. The issue that you run into, especially when you have dirt parking spaces or even when you have stone parking spaces, is as the vehicles come in and out, they create ruts in the ground. And so although to the eye it looks level, when you put your trailer in there, you'll find it's off kilter a little bit, and then you have to go through and do all these adjustments to make sure it's all straight, and that's a real pain in the ass. So if you can ever go, if you don't really want to worry about it, if you've got enough money to go for an asphalted space, make sure to go for an asphalted space, because asphalted spaces definitely make life a lot easier. You just pull in and then you're good, because that's the big problem. Like front to back is not a big deal for leveling out travel trailers or RVs, because you basically just pop one side up or down. The issue you run into, because you have jacks, you have jacks in the front and jacks in the back. So depending on, you know, front or back, you just up it or down it. That's easy. The issue is when it's side to side, because when it's side to side, you actually have to put blocks underneath one side to lift it up, which means you've got to pull the trailer out, you've got to put these little yellow blocks underneath the one side, you've got to push it back, you then have to see if it's level enough, and if it's not level enough, you pull up again, real pain in the butt. So, yeah. But yeah, this is nice. This is a nice little, beautiful little place here. So it's not huge. Again, no golf carts running around this particular place. But this is kind of like the type of RV park you'll find in areas where there's things like national parks or that kind of thing, where they're not their own, destination. So when we went to the one in the Laurel Highlands, that was basically its destination. Like people went there and people had permanent setups and all that kind of stuff. So it was much larger and you actually have permanent setups. Like if you look around here, none of these places are permanent. These people come in and come out, you know, and they might be here for a week, they might be here for a month, but they're not going to be here forever. So you get that, and then you don't have like the golf carts and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a very pretty place. Very happy with it. Though it is warm. Oh my golly, it's like 95 degrees with like 110% humidity around here. It is like steamy, 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 steamy. It is interesting, like going to different places, even in the US, and you don't realize like how much the climate really is different, and not going too far. Like coming down here, it was about 350 miles from Virginia. So I mean, obviously it was a decent amount of distance. We don't really think of it being that much, but you come down here and the weather is definitely hotter and steamier. So we'll be down here for 7 days, and then we'll take off. We might be down here for 8 or 9, since we had the truck issues today, because today basically got completely wasted. And then we're gonna have to go get the truck, which is in Knoxville, which is an hour away. So that's gonna be another waste of 3 hours. So that may end up wasting another day. So we shall see, we shall see. My wife has to be to something on Wednesday. So we're supposed to leave here Tuesday. My wife has to be to something the next Wednesday. So I figure if we stay like another 2 or 3 days here, shouldn't be any big problem. Though I did have to say, like coming here, you know, I was talking before about that I want to be from Pigeon Forge. I was saying that Pigeon Forge sounded like such a cool place that I really wanted to be from there. Well, I do have to say now that I've seen Pigeon Forge, I do not want to be from Pigeon Forge. Because let me tell you, they may do something special to pigeons there, but I have a feeling it is something very perverse. Pigeon Forge, holy crap. I wish I could show you folks a video of Pigeon Forge. It is like one of the most bizarre places I've ever seen. I didn't realize that was Pigeon Forge. I thought that was Gatlinburg. But you go through Pigeon Forge, and they actually have like Dollywood, and you're like, what the hell is Dollywood? It's not like Bollywood? No. Dollywood is so much worse than Bollywood. Dollywood is, you know, Dolly Parton? Did you know Dolly Parton actually has her own amusement park? Yep. D-O-L-L-Y Wood. Go look it up. Dolly Parton officially has her own amusement park. So they have Dollywood there, and they have all kinds of stuff that goes along with Dollywood. And you go through there, and it is absolutely insane. It is like bumper to bumper traffic for like 5 miles through something that looks like it should be in Las Vegas rather than out here in the middle of Tennessee somewhere. So what I was saying before about wanting to be from Pigeon Forge, I do not want to be from Pigeon Forge. I want the name Pigeon Forge, but actually having seen Pigeon Forge, that place is horrifying. That place is truly horrifying. You just look at that place and you're like, I know you're doing something to your pigeons. I have no doubt you're doing something very, very weird to your pigeons, but it's probably very perverse. I do not believe it is whatever you're doing to your pigeons, I do not believe it is a good thing. Let's wander over here, and you can see these RV parks. You know, you got a nice little, kids play areas, a nice little pool and all that. I have to say I like this a lot, because what I get worried about is, you know, I look at Google reviews. So you're gonna go to an RV park and you look at Google reviews. And so normally with Google reviews, what you have to worry about is that, you know, friends of the owners, you know, make the place or the product seem better than it is, right? So you have to worry about that, especially a lot with restaurants. And you find, like I say, a lot of times with restaurants or whatever, but yeah, here's a nice little pool. So it's got a nice little pool there, and it's got a little hot tub. I don't know why you want to be in a hot tub in like 94-degree weather, but apparently. But anyways, so the thing is, like with reviews for things, like normally you go and most of the people that give reviews, you know, they give glowing reviews. So you're really worried that, oh, you know, are these well, these actually real reviews, or are they just friends, right? So I've gone to a lot of restaurants where they had great reviews and the food sucked. I go to a lot of places like that. So I always get worried. And then the weird part, though, I find with RV parks, and this is something that you should just keep in mind, is that you have some really snarky, nasty bastards that leave reviews on RV parks. And I have actually found most of the dishonesty comes from the 1-star reviews for RV parks and not the 4-star or 5-star or whatever it is reviews. Like, if you look for what skews the ratings for RV parks, instead of it being too many 5-star reviews or stupid 5-star reviews, it actually ends up being stupid 1-star reviews, right? So what you do is you look, like, I don't know if you can even hear the traffic. Like, literally, one of the people that gave a crappy review here said, "Oh, it's so close to the highway, it was just road noise all night." Can you hear the road noise? Like, right now it's like 6 o'clock at night. Can you hear the road noise? I mean, you can hear, like, yes, there's a road there, but for the love of crikey, you're in a travel trailer or RV. I mean, you can't get that far away from a road. You know, it's not like, oh, we went backpacking 5 miles into the woods and then there was road noise. It's like, you know, you are in a travel trailer or RV, right? But no, like, one of the people, like they gave like a scathing review of this place, and one of the things was road noise. I guess you can hear that. Right, but yeah, I don't know, right? But that's one of the things you have to think about, like, you come to RV places, is just realize the 1-star reviews are skewed. So you'll see, like, people who, with all these RV places, they normally don't give a refund. So if you want a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and you pay for it, they won't refund that money. Or if they do, it's you have to give a pretty advanced notice, like a 10-day notice or something like that. And so you get a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is horrible. Oh, this is stupid. We had a death in the family," or X, Y, or Z, and they wouldn't refund the money. But what you do have to realize, although this place isn't particularly full, is that a lot of these RV parks really do fill. They fill up to the brim, especially at different times of year. So the issue that these folks have is that if people book out all their spots and then they don't show up and cancel, that can do a lot of damage to these places, right? Because again, like I say, in certain times of the year, a lot of these RV parks completely fill up. And so if you have people that book and then ditch their booking, that can cost them a lot of money. Again, each spot's $59 per night. So, you know, $59 per spot. If you had 10 people do that, that would be $600 per night, right? That's a lot of money. So you get a lot of people that do 1-star reviews because RV parks don't give refunds. But here's the deal. None of the RV parks give refunds. I don't know a single RV park that is really that easy on refunds. They're all pretty blunt about it, and so you've just got to put that into your equation. So one way I see you get a lot of 1-star reviews is that. The next one is dogs, right? So everybody at RV parks likes to have their dogs. It is funny, like, you want to think it, like, people who live out of travel trailers and RVs basically, you know, live in houses that are like the size of my master bedroom. You wouldn't think that they would be like really big on dogs, but they are. They're huge on dogs. There's actually some huge dogs. Like, we saw, like, my wife saw one. What the hell was it? It was like three golden retrievers or something, and like just the smallest ass little, like something like half the size of that. So people like their dogs, which is fine, whatever. But now there are the quote-unquote dangerous breeds of dogs. So, you know, pit bulls and Great Danes and I guess all that kind of stuff, right? But these are pretty standard, right? Everybody basically knows these are quote-unquote dangerous dogs. Now again, whether they should be listed as dangerous dogs, whether they are dangerous dogs, that is an argument for somebody else. But, as I say, you know, basically everybody knows what's going on there. And so with the insurance policies a lot of these places have, they don't allow certain types of dogs. And they're normally, like I say, if you look at the list, they're like the same 5 dogs. Pit bulls, Great Danes, Mastiffs or something, you know, whatever. Basically dogs that might hurt you, right? I have never seen one of these places that like randomly says Chihuahua. It's not like, well, you will not allow pit bulls and Mastiffs and Chihuahuas, right? It's all basically the same old type of things. And then what you get is you get some people that are absolutely appalled by this, and so she not gonna pick up the poop? Hello. She's going to leave the poop on my spot. Oh, no. She's going for the bag. She's going for the bag. Yay. I was worried. I was like, is she really going to leave the poop on my spot? That would suck. But anyways, it's not like they come up with like random names of dogs. It's always like the same dogs. Like they say, they don't do random like Chihuahua. So a lot of times you'll get 1-star reviews because basically people say, oh, they don't allow our dog. It's like, yeah, but your dog is a pit bull. Everybody knows that pit bulls aren't allowed. That is something that is just completely and utterly normal, right? And so they complain about that, and they'll give 1-star reviews. How dare you not allow a pit bull? And you're like, nobody allows pit bulls. What the hell are you talking about? Right? And then the other one that you'll get a lot of people leaving 1-star reviews is a lot of these places are resorts. And again, it's one of those things. Whether or not you think it's a resort, whether or not I think it's a resort, rather neither here nor there, they claim to be resorts. And so basically they have all these other amenities. So they have, they have pools. Like I said, I showed you, they have swimming pools, and a lot of them will have like really big swimming pools, and they'll have all these activities, right? Especially things like the KOAs, they'll have like bouncy things, all this kind of cool stuff for the kids. Because again, if they're gonna charge you $59 for basically a parking space, they are, they want to give you something that's worth 59 bucks. And so one of the other reasons why people will give 1-star reviews is because they'll come and it'll be like a kid's birthday party or something, right? And so then they'll rent a cabin, and then they'll want 20 of the kids' friends to come for free. And you actually see this with some of the RV park reviews where, I can't believe they charge each one of the guests $10. It's like, again, it's all in their policy. You know, it's $59 or what, $59 a night for a parking space with like 2 or 4 or whatever adults. Anybody else is $10 or $5 or $6. I literally saw that with one place, Flamingo Lake. Flamingo Lake was cool. It was down in Jacksonville, Florida. Beautiful, beautiful RV park. Too close to 295. That had road noise. It was right by 295, big interstate. But one of the things is in the middle, they have this huge lake. Flamingo Lake, and it's a lake. I'll give it a lake. Small lake, but I'll give it a lake. And so you got swimming in there, and then you have like a little lake restaurant that looks over the lake, and they got that paddle boats, and they even have like those big inflatable moon things where you climb in them in the water and jump off, all kinds of stuff, right? And I saw that where somebody gave a 1-star review where they're like, yeah, well, we went there and we rented a place for my kid's birthday party, and then we had like 20 or 30 people, you know, come, and the security people were chasing down my guests to get the money from them. And you're like, yeah, well, their policy is guests cost $10 a day. You brought 30 guests, which means $300, one way or the other. Again, this wasn't that I paid. That was the thing, like with the 1-star review. It wasn't that they said I had already prepaid for the guests and then they tried to double charge them, which again, that all rights there, you should be pissed off. It's that, how dare they try to charge each one of my guests? And you're like, well, because they've got all these amenities for people that are staying there. And if you want to use it, pay more money. So that was one thing to realize with whenever you're looking at RV parks and for reviews. And the other thing to think about with just like I say, the review system, it's really weird, is I have found like restaurants and some stores and that kind of stuff, they skew high, friends and family and all that kind of stuff. The weird thing, like I say, is with RV parks, it skews really low. Because again, I don't know, can you? Like I say, there was all these complaints about this place. There was a complaint about the dog thing. There was a complaint about road noise. And I was concerned. Like, it's the closest one to the park, and it seemed nice enough. And again, sometimes nice enough is what you got to go for. But now that I'm here, it's a really fucking nice RV park. I don't know what people are bitching about. This should not be like 3.5 stars. I'd say it should be 4.5 stars. Yeah, they've got a nice laundry room. They've got a beautiful laundry room. They've got good Wi-Fi. 10 megabits per, or 5 megabits per second upload speed. And that's with people here. So like when I was uploading videos when we were in the Laurel Highlands, Mountain Pines campground, I think it was, I was able to upload videos there. But also, most of the time it was empty, right? Even though you saw all these permanent trailers, actual people there were almost none. So although I was able to upload, again, nobody on the system. you know, you can upload. Here, I mean, if you look around, I mean, there's probably at least 30 RVs and trailers, and I know they're all using internet. And so even with that many people, you can still upload 1080p 60 frames per second. So, yeah, I don't know. Just something to keep in mind with those whole reviews. Again, with all this kind of stuff, this user-generated stuff, things skew in weird ways that you would not expect. So anyways, what are some of the questions? I don't have my little thing. What are some of the questions from the peanut galleries you folks were asking? I think one of the things that I found really strange, somebody had this question about, is compressor $50, is compressor worth $50 more than handbrake? This is always one of those kind of weird questions I get from people, right? So the way that I compress my videos, so when I do 1080p 60 frames per second, they turn into 12 gig video files. Big files, right? If you don't have good internet connection, or if you're using an LTE, again, I only have 18 gigs total per month for my LTE, so that's too big. So I shrink them with a compressor. It comes down to 500 megs, right around. And I paid $50 for that. And so there's a piece of open source software called Handbrake that supposedly allows you to do it for free. The same thing for free, supposedly. So people have been asking the question, well, Eli, stupid computer guy, is compressor really worth $50 more than Handbrake? And so, as I will say with anything when it comes to value, that's all up to you. I can't tell you. Is compressor worth $50 more than Handbrake? I can't tell you. If you like Handbrake, use Handbrake. Here's the deal. Here's why I use compressor. I love Final Cut Pro. I love Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro is the most amazing video editing software in the world. Theoretically, you might not be able to do quite as much stuff with it as Premiere. So I think Linus Tech Tips uses Adobe Premiere. I used to use Adobe Premiere back in the day. And my problem with Adobe Premiere is you could do a lot of amazing stuff. Wow, Adobe Premiere, you could do a lot of amazing stuff. It was amazing. It's just like an artistic tool. Anything you can think about with a Premiere and After Effects and other things, you can do with it. Here's the issue. The problem is if you do all that wacky stuff, obviously you know it's going to be complicated and a pain in the ass. The issue is if you're somebody like me, and you do rather simple things, it's still complicated and a pain in the ass. It's just like an overcomplicated piece of software. Yes, you could create a Hollywood movie using it. I do not doubt. The problem is, to create the type of videos that I do, it's a pain in the ass. So I like Final Cut Pro because you can do a lot of cool things if you really want to. I don't particularly want to. But it's very, very easy to use. Again, you just sit there, you just do whatever it is, and away you go. They've got a lot of, instead of having to customize everything, they have just a lot of just drag and drop WYSIWYG stuff. And like I say, for me, again, I am somebody that talks into a camera. I consider the important thing that I do the talking, not the camera work. Again, this whole Let's Live thing is an interesting concept. I do enjoy doing it, but overall, I think what I'm providing you is the talking, right? So that's why I like Final Cut Pro. And so compressor is another piece of Apple software that goes along with it. And so essentially, what I was looking at is I want something simple. I want something easy to use. I want something that I know is going to work for what I'm doing, and compressor fit the bill. Compressor gets a lot of good reviews. Again, I'm not doing anything wacky with it, so I could buy compressor, I could tweak compressor a little bit, and an hour later, it was doing what it was supposed to do. Yay, right? I know it's going to get updated. I know there's not going to be any major issues. The only problem that I had was, like I say, the margins. So the first video I uploaded had margins, which for some reason didn't show up when I used QuickTime. And then I uploaded it, and then I did see it afterwards. The problem with YouTube is you can't change videos really once they're uploaded. So that one that's up there is kind of screwed up, kind of dorky. Oh well. Again, you always got to have a testing phase. So overall, what I found with compressor is it was just really easy to use. It was from a company that I trusted. It works about as simple and as easily and as reliably as I figured it would. And so, yay, right? That's good. I don't have to worry about any quirks. I don't have to worry about any problems, because that's one of the things you have to worry about with like video encoding is you don't know, are there going to be weird issues like somewhere in the middle, right? So if you're compressing or changing, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute videos, it's very easy to see if the audio and video go out of sync, right? Because it's 3 minutes. You run it through the encoder, you play it, If it looks good, you upload it. If it's not, doesn't look good, you don't upload it. Problem is, when you got like a long video file, like you got an hour video long file, sometimes audio and video can go into and out of sync. And I don't really want to sit there and watch an hour video file after I've compressed it to verify that everything is A-OK, right? So I want to use a piece of software that I trust. So the question becomes not whether or not Handbrake is worth $50 less or compressor is worth $50 more than Handbrake. It's how much is me trusting the product worth. And so for me, I know compressor, it's kind of like one of the standardized in the Mac world. I know it works well. I saw all the reviews, especially like I say when I'm going from 60 frames per second down to 30 frames per second. Right? There's a lot of weird, quirky stuff there. And so I know compressor is going to do what it's supposed to do. So for $50 is well worth the trust factor. And again, that's one of the things you have to think about in life and business. And this is one of the things I talk about. Oh, Eli, oh, you're stupid. No. Again, if I run through videos and they start to have weird issues or they have weird issues in the future or any of that kind of stuff, don't want to deal with that. I want workflow. And that's one of the things you have to think about too. Like with a $50, is compressor worth $50 more than Handbrake? Again, that's not really the question. Is having a stable, reliable workflow worth $50? Yes. And again, that's one of the reasons why I do these videos and why, although Fail Normal doesn't seem like a tech channel, in a lot of ways this is actually almost more of a tech channel than Eli the Computer Guy, because these are the things that you have to be thinking about. So many folks, they look at the product itself. Well, there's an open source product for free and this product costs for $50. Why would anybody buy the $50 product? $50 product is supported. $50 product gets updates. $50 product, because people are spending $50 and because it has a big brand name on it, needs to be more reliable than necessarily the open source version. And so what you're looking at is a branded product worth $50 more than an open source product, but is the stability of workflow worth that amount of money? And what you'll find a lot of times at the end of the day, yes. Again, that was one thing, like back when I was in the corporate world, a lot of times like we did not fix PCs back then. So I was an MCSE and I was certified and all this kind of stuff. And so I was allowed to swap hard drives, but I wasn't allowed to do anything else. The company literally bought Dell maintenance contracts or even HP maintenance contracts that were very expensive. Very fucking expensive. But that was the thing, is the company didn't want to worry about me fixing PCs or fixing laptops or fixing hardware servers. They just wanted to know that it would get done. So, would it have been theoretically less expensive to have me do the work? Theoretically, but I already had 30 work orders a day on my desk. They didn't really want to add to that workload. So what they preferred is they would just spend $150 or $200 or whatever for a 3-year maintenance agreement, and then it was done. If there was anything more severe than a hard drive replacement, we just called Dell, and Dell fixed it. Again, is a maintenance contract worth $300 for 3 years? Or is knowing that if there's a hardware problem, that it will simply be taken care of worth $300? And that's where it comes into. So yeah, some people have been asking, oh, is compressor, well, I don't know. It works for me. And I don't know, Handbrake may be better for you. Maybe Handbrake is better for you. Compressor, again, I care about the workflow. I want plug and play, I want WYSIWYG, I want to do it and know that it will work, because like I say, I just don't want to have to sit through an hour-long video trying to see if the audio and video sync up. That really sucks. And I've had that problem in the past. Again, been doing this a little while now, and yeah, so that's that. I wish I had my little thing. I don't know if there's any other questions. Not really. Other than Louis Rossman calling me a pixel. Man, the force is strong in that one. The voodoo force is strong in that one. All it takes is for him to say, you are a pixel, and your vehicle will just crash itself. I just don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand, man. I don't understand. So anyways, going on to the subject of quality versus this is why I need notes. I need some notes right here. Quality versus, not continuity, Continuity? No. Continuity. It's not continuity, right? Oh, continuity, reliability. Oh, damn it, I need notes. What is it? I've been thinking about this all day, because I talked about it before, so I was going to talk about it more in this video. Reliability? It's not. It's like a word like reliable. It's like a C word. Quality oh, no, it's not reliable. Oh. I'm losing my brain. He must be poking me with like a multimeter prong right now. It's like quality. So quality is one of the words. One of the words is quality. The other word is not reliability. It's a C word. Constant stream. No. Oh. Comfort. No. Southern comfort. No. Oh, crikey. Quality. I feel like I'm becoming that governor from Texas. I don't even remember his name right now. I'm losing my mind. Cellulitis has gone to my head. First, reliability. Not continuity. Oh, what's the word? There's a word. It's not reliability. It's along the lines of reliability. C. Not credibility. First, quality. Holy crap. I am goofing this one up today. C. What is the C word? The C word of today is... Oh, not continuity. Not credibility. That thing where you do it every single day. It's like you do it every single day, and that's better than quality. Oh, what is it that you do every single day that's better than quality? It's like when somebody asks you to do it, that you do it. But that's more important than quality. Oh, I'm losing my mind. This is what happens. See, I'm almost 40. It's all downhill from here. Telling you what, all you 20-year-olds out there. Oh, love your livers and love your brains. What is it? It's quality. Well, I did like 15 minutes talking about this before. Putting it out every single... Okay, we're going to give up on that. I don't know what that word is. Maybe the word will come to me. Maybe as I talk, the word will come to me. Again, this is one of the things, though. This is one of the things that you learn, like being like a speaker or whatever. And like anything in business, is just don't stop. That's what a lot of people do. Like with trying to speak or trying to do YouTube videos, the big problem that they have is that whenever they run into an issue, they just stop talking. And then they just kind of stare at the camera. And then that sucks for everybody involved. The big thing, I would argue, that's like one of the most important things in life, is just don't stop. Like slow down a little bit, try to regain your bearings, but just keep going for it. I'm telling you, that's how you sit here and you yabber into a camera. That's really what I do. Like, it's not really that I talk for an hour at a time, it's that I start talking and I don't allow myself to stop until I hit the hour mark. I don't know, it's just one of those little random lessons. But it is a very important lesson. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, people that try to get into public speaking, and they say, oh, I don't know if I can do it. What if I freeze up? And, like, so much of being successful in life is not allowing yourself to have that option. You don't have the option to freeze up. Whatever you do, just keep talking. Whatever it is you do, just keep talking. As long as you keep talking, you'll be surprised. Most people will nod along, and they'll say, yeah, that was a great speech. Just don't ask them if they understand what you said, because then you might get some really, really weird responses that you don't like. But yeah, anyways, one of those lessons in life. Just keep going. Just don't stop. The people that are successful in life are the ones that know not to stop. So anyways, the C word. He poked me in the brain. He called me a pixel, motherfucker. Motherfucker called me a pixel. All downhill from there. Consistency is the word. Consistency, boys and girls, and lady boys and C's, is better than quality. Consistency is better than quality. There we go. So consistency, right? So a lot of people go out into the world and they think that quality is the most important thing, and they will not put out a bad product. Eli, if it doesn't reach my standard of care, if it doesn't reach my standard of quality, I will not put it out to the world. And you're like, yeah, but what about being consistent? About every day putting out the product? It's like, oh no, I will put out the product, Eli. I will put out the product, Eli. If it is perfect, if it reaches my personal measure, right, then I will put it out. But if it doesn't reach that measure, I won't do it at all, right? And the problem is again, like I say, these are maladaptive behaviors. That sounds really good on paper. It really sucks in real life. So I had a friend of mine, right? And one of the reasons I know these stories, I can tell these stories so well, is because I really do know all these people, right? I've been around the block. And so I back when I was in college, back when I was in the military, right? I had that whole thing. Oh, I kind of suck. And I knew so many people that would go out there and they would talk a good game. They would talk an amazing game. And so again, when you're 20 and 21 and 22, you haven't seen these people when they turn 30 or 40. Right? So if they say something, you figure that it's true, and especially if they've got a nice car, and especially if they're dressed well, and especially if they have all these things that you wish you had, right? It's really easy to fall in the trap. So I had a friend of mine, and she had this whole thing that she talked about, where if she did not get an A in her college class, that she dropped out. She was like, my GPA is so important. My GPA is so important to me that if I don't get an A, I will drop that class. And I was like, wow, man, that's hardcore. That's hardcore. That's quality right there. Isn't that what we all aspire to? That's a kind of a quality. If I'm not going to get an A, she wanted a 4.0. Now, I never really, could live up to that standard, right? To be honest with you, when I went through college, one of the reasons I was able to do so much when I went through college and be able to finish my college degree so quickly is because I looked at the master's degree programs I was interested in, and what I saw was that in order to get into those master's degree programs, you needed a minimum of a 3.0 GPA. So guess what GPA I targeted? That's right. I shot straight for that 3.0 GPA. And it really was the type of thing where I would be doing my class and I would have an A in a class. In order to keep an A, I would have to do like some 5-page term paper. And then I'd look at my GPA and go, well, if I got a B in this class, I'm still over a 3.0. And so I wouldn't do the term paper, right? Again, it wasn't being lazy. It was simply, there's so much time in the day. I can either learn scuba diving, or I can learn cave rescue, or I could learn, dealing with terrorism and interview and interrogation and that kind of stuff, or I could do a 5-page term paper. Here's the thing, if I do that 5-page term paper, it's gonna boost my GPA by, fraction of a percent or whatever. That's actually not gonna matter. A 3.05 functionally is no better than a 3.0. So I can either learn rescue, technical skills, and all that kind of stuff that might actually be useful in life, or I can work on a 5-page term paper and again get 0.05 higher GPA. That's not gonna matter. Again, if they don't accept me with a 3.0 GPA, they're not gonna accept me with a 3.05. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I always targeted, right? I figured out what I needed. I targeted good old consistency, and that's the thing, is that every day I plugged along and did this and that and the other thing, right? But I had, like I said, I had this friend. She was all like, oh yeah, if I don't get a 4.0, then I drop out of the class. And I was like, wow, right? And I know you folks know people like that. You're like, wow, because you're still young and stupid. You're stupid enough to believe their shit. And that was the thing, right? So she was that way. And then I go off and I do my military thing and I get all this emergency services training. I'm still young. I get my college degree. I get my MCSE. I'm off in the corporate world, flying around the country doing tech work. And then I call her up and say, hey, how's it going? Where are you at? And this was like 6 years later, and she still hadn't gotten it. No, so I've been 23. 19. Yeah, probably about 4 years later. Something like that. And she still hadn't finished her bachelor's degree. She still hadn't finished her bachelor's degree. Ended up taking her like 10 years to finish a bachelor's degree. And you're just sitting there like, see? And that's the problem that you run into with life. The difference between consistency and quality is the people that go like Uber for quality. I talked about this before, like perfectionists or cowards. I fucking hate perfectionists, all these type of people. Because the issue is they put out in this world this aura of superiority. Well, you may put out an inferior product, but I never would, right? And again, it's that old ego thing. Again, Book of Eli. Ego is the biggest destroyer of people, right? So they want to put themselves up. But the issue is it's almost impossible to ever do anything at 100%, right? Doing something perfect or near perfect is brutally difficult to do, right? It really is really hard to do. And then if it's hard to do once, imagine doing it again and again and again and again and again, especially in a business or a professional environment. Because again, that's what people don't think about, right? It's not about whether you can do it once. It's can you iterate 1,000 times, right? Being successful doing YouTube videos is not about me doing one video and then sitting back and waiting for the money to roll in. It's about me doing 1,000 videos to start with. Right? Again, if you look at my other channel, so I mean, I have over 2,000 videos, right? If I worried about quality, if I worried about perfection for all of those videos, you just couldn't get anywhere. I just couldn't do anything. I'd have like 5 videos up in like 6.5 years, right? The way that I've been able to do what I've done is I've just put out, frankly, a lot of crap work. If you look at a lot of my videos, oh, what the hell is this? Again, like I say with this video, I was sitting there trying to figure out what the hell consistency. I'm like, what the hell? I remember, what is that word, right? And again, a lot of people want to do that, right? Because that would be that they weren't good, they didn't have quality, right? For me, I don't care. The important thing is that I put out a video, again, 5 days a week. 5 days a week, videos need to go up onto YouTube. If I get them up onto YouTube, that means I did a good job. And if I didn't put them up onto YouTube, that means I failed. I don't want to fail. Right? Failure sucks. So again, so I keep putting it up. And so that's the big thing to be thinking about, especially in your professional career, because so many people, they work on this perfection thing, and they have this idea that perfection is good, and that perfection is even what is wanted. And here's the deal. Nobody really cares about perfection. Like, to give you a hint, I was thinking about this, right? So I have the person who mows my lawn, right? So again, I got that stupidly big house. And one of the problems when you get a stupidly big house is you have a stupidly big lawn, and it actually makes more sense to hire a lawn mowing person than it does to like buy all the equipment. I actually did the cost benefit analysis of buying my own equipment, and like really it came to the realization that I would save like $5 a year if I bought all my equipment, plus I had to mow the lawn. Like simply paying that person like to do all the work actually is a better cost benefit analysis, right? But the important thing, what do you think the important thing for me is? What do you think the important thing? Do you think the important thing when my lawn mowing person comes is that they do it perfect? That every single thing is edged, that every single thing is blown right, that they even mow all the stuff that they're supposed to mow? No, the priority is that every week or whenever it needs to be done, they come and they do it. And they make it look good enough that my neighbors don't complain at me. Again, what is my priority in life? With a big ass lawn, really, it's about my neighbors not complaining at me, right? And so with my lawn mowing thing, the thing is, again, with any company, the owner of the lawn mowing company is great. He's out there working and sweating and humping, and God bless him. But he also has help. He also has people that help him out to do stuff. Again, the weed whacking and all that kind of thing. And the problem is if you have a landscaping company, that it's kind of hard to find help. So sometimes he has really good help. He has like perfect help. And other times he has help, again, that just like skip. Just swaths of the yard. You're just sitting there, you're looking at it afterwards, like, what the hell? Like, well, you just didn't like this 20 square feet? This 20 square feet, it insulted me, so I'm not gonna mow. Like, really, it's like there'll just be like these swaths of yard that for whatever reason aren't mowed. And you're like, what the hell? But here's the deal. Am I going to fire my lawn mowing guy over it? No. Am I gonna bitch and moan and complain at my lawn mowing guy over it? No. Am I going to threaten to withhold money? You know, well, if you didn't mow that 20 square feet, then I'm going to deduct 10% of how much you charged me? No. What am I going to do? I'm going to go, why the fuck didn't they mow that 20 square feet? I really don't understand. And here's the thing. The next week, they're going to come and they're going to mow that 20 square feet. And they're probably going to skip some other 10 square feet. I'll be like, oh well, that 20 square feet got mowed, and right? Because I don't really care. What I really care about is that the person comes and day in, week out, mows the yard good enough. Because I know that he will mow it good enough. Will it be perfect? Will it be a work of art? I don't even care. It's just good enough. And that's the whole thing that people don't realize, is that consistency is really what is important. That you do something consistent so that people know to come to you for that thing. Again, that's where I've been talking about with these videos, where come hell or high water, my priority is to put out a video 5 days a week. The reason is because for whatever reason, ASMR or whatever it is, you folks like to hear my voice. You like to hear the dulcet tones of my voice. And so, if I put out a video 5 days a week, you folks know that 5 days a week you will get a video. And so you'll come like little Pavlovian dogs to get your little ASMR biscuit, right? I want to feel the tingle down my back. Cool. Well, here's the thing. If I waited to only upload the videos when they were the highest quality, 1080p, 60 frames per second, everything going perfectly, right? As we saw, last week I was not able to do it. So, if I did it some weeks, if I didn't do it other weeks, the problem is then that there's no pattern there. And so people don't get into the pattern, and so they don't get used to listening to this every day. Again, like I used to listen to NPR. Every day I would listen to NPR, National Public Radio. Back before I realized they really actually were too liberal, or I got too old and got too conservative. But anyways, right? And it was what I did every day, until for whatever reason then I stopped doing it. And now it's been like a year since I've done it, right? Because I broke the pattern. People have patterns. And so that's the thing to be thinking about. Like when you go into your job, the important thing is not that you're perfect, not that you fix every problem, everything is amazing and great and spit polished. Really the important thing that you do when you go into the job is that you say, sir, yes sir, I will be there in 2 minutes. Because here's the thing, like if you're going to be a support professional, here's the deal, right? People really don't care if the problem gets fixed. Shh. Don't tell users this, because they will disagree. But it really is true. When you're a support professional, your job is really not about fixing the problem. What your job really is about placating the client. The more you placate the client, the better a professional they'll think you are. The less you placate the client, the worse, right? So I've seen this where really good high quality technicians that do really good work do not communicate at all with the client. And the client hates them. Yeah, they may get really good work at the end of the day, or at the end of the week, or at the end of 2 weeks. But the issue is if somebody comes in and they drop off a computer and they expect it back in 3 days, and it's 2 weeks later and they get back a perfect computer with all the data recovered and all that, what they're going to think is, I had no idea what was going on. They never bothered to contact me. So even though the work is theoretically superior than what they were expecting, the overall experience is worse, right? What users want, what users really want, again, it all comes down to ego, is they want to feel special. They want to feel important. So if you treat them special, if you treat them important, they will love you. And if you do really high quality work, but you treat them like crap, they won't. And so that's the thing you have to be thinking about, like with consistency, is again, a lot of people, they shy away from, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to fix that problem, so I'm not even going to take the work order. Where I would argue, if you really want to get ahead in life, what you do is you take every work order or whatever that comes across the table, you go, you deal with the client immediately, and then you can see what you can do. Hi, I got the work order, I got the job, or I see you need help. I see you need help, I am here to help. And then they explain what they need. And then you look at them and go, oh, I'm not sure I can do that. But you know what? I'm going to try. And what are those people going to remember? That's a weird thing, right? That's a weird thing with humans. Are they going to remember that you failed miserably and blew everything up? Probably not. What they're going to remember is that you showed up immediately, and that you said that even though you weren't sure if you could do it, you were there, you tried, you worked very hard, right? And so the thing is, when there's a problem next time, they'll call you again and again and again and again. And here's a weird, funny thing with quality. If you focus on consistency first and quality second, it's surprising how quickly the quality of your product will go up. Because again, if people start calling you because they know you will respond to the problem immediately, then more people are going to call you, and more people are going to call you, and more people are going to call you. You're like, oh no, but I don't know how to fix the problem. But here's the thing. How do you learn how to fix the problem? Through experience. The only way to get good as a professional is to get experience. So if you take every work order or ticket or whatever that comes across the table, you do your best. Again, back in the day, my first nickname as a computer person was not Eli the Computer Guy. My first nickname as a computer person was CK, as in Computer Killer. Because back when I started as an IT professional, Windows 95 was still in the production environment. Ooh, real businesses still use Windows 95 as a client operating system. And so I got shipped off, did not have the experience, did not have the education, did not have the training, did not have any of the things that I should have had. I got shipped off to go work at our Pittsburgh office. And I got shipped there. It was 4 hours away from Baltimore. And I was told, when you go there, all I want you to do, all I was supposed to do, is there was a Cisco switch. So the old one had physically died. So I was supposed to go there with a new Cisco switch, plug it in, plug in the cables, contact the datacom department, say, hey, is it working? And if the lights lit up and it was working, then it worked, and I left. That's all I was supposed to do, right? So I had been working at this company for like 3 days when I got shipped off to Pittsburgh, right? And I looked at my partner, I said, all I have to do is plug in the Cisco switch, right? Nothing else, because I'm not qualified, like, right? Yeah, nothing else, right? So I get there, and they had not seen a computer person in 4 months. Again, this was back during the dot-com boom. Computer people were very expensive. There were not enough of us, blah, blah, blah. So this was an entire 30-person office that hadn't seen a computer person in 4 months. So the manager was like, F you, you're not leaving. You're not leaving until you fix some stuff, because we need the stuff fixed. Okay, right? So I go to fix things. And again, it's Windows 95 era. And so like the first 3 or 4 computers I touch, blue screen of death, just wipe their asses out. It was just horrible. So again, a lot of you, I'd give up, or I couldn't do it. What did I do? I am going to fix this problem. So I sat there and I fixed the first problem, then I fixed the second problem, I fixed the third problem. Then I got to the fourth computer or fifth computer, and it wiped itself out too. And that's where I got the name CK. It was like the assistant, like the assistant to the manager or whatever. The assistant, it wasn't assistant manager, but like the assistant to the manager. And he looked at me and was like, "Hey, CK." I'm like, CK, what the hell does that mean? Computer killer. It was consistency. I kept plugging along, and then fixed all of them, right? And then got really good at fixing them, right? The work order comes in, that I do it. Day in, day out, you do the work that is in front of you. And what you will find out is people are far more interested. They're far more interested in knowing that you will come and do your best when you're called versus that it's 100% quality. Again, as I say, with my lawn mowing person, they do some weird shit sometimes. I just don't get it sometimes. I really don't care. I don't even bring it up to them, because I've had them as a lawn mowing person for 5 years, and you know what? Yeah, they randomly leave 10, 20 square feet patches of grass for some reason. But then they mow it later. And you know what? It's really worth not arguing. It's really not worth arguing about. And again, that's how most managers, that's how most bosses, that's how most clients feel about it. You go there, you do the work. If it's not perfect, what they want to know, they don't want to know that the work that you do is perfect. They want to know that if there was a problem with your work and they call you, you'll come back and fix it if need be. If you do that, okay, right? So that would be my thought. That would be my little spiel today on consistency versus quality. Again, one of those maladaptive things. Everybody thinks about quality. Quality. Quality is job one. Yeah, no, not really. Not really. Quality is like a good thing. Quality is an important thing, but it's not necessarily job one. It's like, a job. The important thing is, again, like I say, if you go to a restaurant, right? They make 1,000 meals a night. So is it really important that you get the best meal every time you go there? Or that you get a meal? Can you imagine going to a restaurant and if the meal wasn't perfect, that the chef wouldn't feed it to you? Like, can you imagine, like, you would go and you get a pizza, you get ribs, you get a hamburger. Like, imagine going to a burger place. Think about this, right? Imagine going to a burger place, and you go to the burger place, and you're really hungry, and so you order a meal. And then it's been 10 minutes, and it's been 20 minutes, and then it's been an hour. And then you wave down the waitress, and you're like, hey, what's going on with our meal? And the waitress looks at you and goes, oh, well, here's the thing. The chef doesn't feel that he can make a perfect burger for you. Therefore, we're not going to feed you at all. And you're like, think about that, right? That's how a lot of you folks are. That's how a lot of you folks are. If it's not perfect, I won't do it. And then you're sitting there and you're like, look, I'm really hungry. Like, I mean, I don't want you to spit in the burger or anything. And I don't want to get E. coli. But, you know, honestly, as long as it's cooked well enough that I'm not going to get E. coli, it's good enough. I don't need a perfect burger. No. The chef said, if we can't serve you the perfect hamburger, we're not going to serve you a hamburger at all. No, but I'm actually kind of hungry. Like, no, you don't understand. I've been like hiking a mountain all day, and I probably really should have eaten like 2 hours ago, so I'm kind of getting a little shaky here. So I just really need a burger and fries. I really don't care at this point. Just give me a burger and fries. No. If it's not a perfect burger and fries, we're not gonna say, no, seriously, give me the fucking burger, right? But again, think about that. A pizza or a burger or a taxi ride or any of these things that you buy. Think about the things that you purchase that aren't perfect, that aren't quite right. And think about how many times you go back again and again and again and again. Again, like I go to Whole Foods. Oh yeah, right, Whole Foods is not always perfect. Oh, shocking. Sometimes I get bad products from Whole Foods. And I still go back. Why? It's good enough. Still better than Safeway, right? And so I think that's one of the things that a lot of people get hung up with. They get this, it has to be perfect. Especially, like, that's the worst person, like with newbies. The worst thing in the world with newbies is newbies suck. Newbies are so bad. They don't even know how bad they are. They're like so bad, it's like not even worth complaining. It's just like, wow, you're just atrocious. You're atrocious in ways that you don't even know you should be measured. That's a funny thing, like with noobs, is because like there's all these measurements, these criteria that they know about, and they know they fail on those criteria. But the thing is, they don't even know about the other criteria. There's like this whole other list they don't even know they're screwing up on, right? But that's the worst part with noobs, is they're so bad. And they're like, but I won't do work unless it's perfect. You're like, you're never gonna be perfect. If you don't get experience, if you're not out there breaking things and then fixing it, you're never going to get good enough to be perfect. And so if you're a noob who's basically worthless, the only thing you're good for is picking up the phone and saying, yes, sir, I'll be there in a minute. Like, that's the only thing you're good for at this point. And you won't even do that because you don't feel you can put out a quality product. Then how are you ever going to get better? Again, it's like that chef at the burger place, right? Again, like the best chef in the world, Wolfgang Puck. Well, I have no idea where Wolfgang Puck started. But think about that. If Wolfgang Puck, 40 years ago or whatever, was like flipping burgers and then said, I will never serve a burger that's not perfect, do you think they'd have a zillion restaurants or whatever? Again, like I say, even Ramsay, Chef Gordon Ramsay, screaming at people and all that kind of stuff. Do you honestly believe every meal he puts out is perfect? Are there a lot of good enough meals? Are there a lot of meals that really probably aren't even good enough, right? Because again, he's got a lot of restaurants, he's got a lot of stupid employees out there, and yet he still goes out there and he puts out the meals every day, right? Because that's the important thing. You go to Chef Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, and even a bad meal is still a meal. Again, if you're hungry, you're hungry, right? If you need a computer fixed, you need the computer fixed, right? If it's not perfect, again, that's the thing, like I say, with computers and like tune-ups and all that kind of stuff, is there's like the right way to do it, and then there is a good enough way, right? A lot of times you can throw some duct tape and Band-Aids on a computer and make it work good enough. Make it work another 6 months or a year. Again, should you do it appropriately? If you can, yes. But the client wants you to fix the problem. If you just sit there, that's a thought for the day. Consistency. It's just going through and chugging through. Like I say, doing these videos. If I'm doing these videos, the important thing is that every day a new video comes out, preferably at 6 a.m. in the morning. I did learn that lesson because somebody said that they were using these videos when they do their commute to work. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the consistency of 6 a.m. this week, simply because, like last night, I started uploading the video, and it was actually uploaded by 6 a.m., but then it took a while to process. So I will say my consistency is every day. I will try to get about by 6 a.m. every morning. But that's the thing, is it gets people into the pattern. And again, what you find a lot of times at the end of the day is what people really want isn't necessarily what you think they want. Again, like I say, with me doing these videos, what do you think the really important thing of these videos is? What do you think what do you think the important, valuable thing of this videos is? Do you think it's my advice? Do you think it's my wisdom? Is it about me bitching about Louis Rossman calling me a pixel? Do you think any of those things are really the valuable thing? Oddly enough, the very valuable thing in these videos is simply me talking for an hour. Right? Because basically, think about that. People like having something on in the background. And the reality is, half the time, even when people make a lot of sense, it's not like you're listening to them. Like, when you have Rush Limbaugh in the back, do you think everybody, like, gives Rush Limbaugh 100% attention? I think if they did, a lot more people would be running for the hills, right? No, they put it on the background. Again, like NPR, like I used to, like when I used to deliver pizzas, right? I'd listen to NPR, National Public Radio. And the funny thing is like they would have their 4 to 6 o'clock hour, like rotation, and then they would basically duplicate it from like 6 to 8. And I would listen to both of them. And the reason is because I'd be driving along delivering pizzas from the 4 to 6, and I just want to be paying attention sometimes. I'd be thinking about other things. I'd be looking for stuff. And so when they repeated the exact same information for the next 2-hour thing, I would pick up new stuff because I was paying attention to different sections. The important thing was just something in the background to listen to. Like I used to listen to, was it Love Lines? Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew, right? And again, I listened to them when I was delivering pizzas for a long time. And again, it wasn't because they were the smartest people in the world. They weren't always the funniest person in the world. Like, a lot of the stuff that they talked about was really cringeworthy. But again, when you're out there delivering pizzas between 10 o'clock at night to midnight, you want something to listen to, other than the same music you've listened to for the past year. So there was something to listen to, right? Was it the highest quality product? No. It was just something to have on in the background. So again, that's something to think about. Again, the consistency, so much of the time, is so much more important than quality. But people shoot themselves in the ball sack time and time and time and time again because they focus on quality. If it's not perfect, I'm not going to do it. And again, like I say, my friend took 10 years just to get her freaking bachelor's degree, whereas in a fraction of time, I had my bachelor's degree, plus 600 hours of emergency services training, plus my military experience, plus my MCSE, plus I've been in the corporate world flying all over the place. I think by the time she got her bachelor's degree, I was already starting as a consultant, right? And again, I had been jealous of her. I'd been jealous. I was like, oh, I wish I was like that. I wish I had the discipline to only continue in a class if I knew I was gonna get an A. Again, what seems smart at 20 seems really stupid at 40. But anyways, those are the thoughts for the day. I'm gonna go in, figure out some food to eat, watch some Supernatural. I'm very happy I get to watch Supernatural again. I'm so addicted to that show. Not quite as addicted as I was to Doctor Who. I do miss the fact that I've seen all the Doctor Who's now. But Supernatural is a good show. If you haven't checked out Supernatural, especially like I say on Netflix, they've got like 11 seasons, and they don't make a damn bit of sense. Let me tell you. Again, consistency over quality. The plot line in Supernatural, it doesn't even make sense. Like, you just sit there. Like, there have been times I honestly thought I missed an episode. Because they'll be going along with their story arc, and then I'm watching this thing, and it's like, this doesn't make any sense at all. And so I'll stop it to go back because I think like I skipped an episode. It's like, no, you didn't skip an episode. This plot just doesn't make a damn bit of sense, right? But I like seeing Sam. Was it Sam? Sam and Dean Winchester, and their buddy Bob or whatever, the old grizzled guy, and Cass. Cass isn't in it right now. Cass turned into Leviathans or something. I don't know. Like I said, I really don't. He had all this everything from somewhere in him, and then it exploded out like aliens. Then it went into the water supply, and now these Leviathans are trying to take over the world. But if you spray them with borax, again, like there is none of it makes any sense. So you have these spirits from purgatory that got ingested into an angel so that he could win an angel war because God left the building. And then he now thinks that he's God until those little things from purgatory explode from him. And for some reason, he wanders into a lake before they explode, and then they explode out, and then they're leviathans that then get into the water supply, and then they start infecting people, and they're like all powerful unless you spray them with borax. There's no quality to the plot here. Like, that probably makes more sense than the actual plot does. But I just like flipping it on. I watch a couple episodes before I go to bed. What's the important thing? Is the important thing a perfect plot that makes half an ounce of sense? Or is it every night just being able to watch these two retards do whatever the hell they do? Right? But anyways, they're up to 11 seasons. Again, Supernatural is like the perfect example of consistency over quality. Right? Find a few likable actors, create likable characters for them, and then just keep pushing the plot down the road, right? You just sit there at the end of it, you're like, what? The devil is in a pit with Sam, and Sam's soul is getting skinned alive. How does a soul get skinned alive? That doesn't even make sense. But it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable enough, right? Supernatural, the perfect example of consistency over quality. Put out 24 episodes a year, whether or not they make a damn bit of sense. But anyways, hopefully tomorrow we'll get some good hiking in. I'll be able to talk about that. We are down here. It's going well, and I see we're at the hour and 11 mark. So I gotta cut it off. Because again, the longer the video is, the bigger the file. And the bigger the file, the harder it is to upload. So with that, we will call it a day. And hopefully, I'll still be alive tomorrow. Hopefully Lewis doesn't call me a frame rate or something. Tomorrow he'll be like, Eli, you are a vector graphic. And then I'll explode! But like, as soon as I read the words vector graphic, my head will vaporize. That's how powerful Louis Rossmann is. That's how powerful. He can call you a pixel. He can call you a pixel from 1,000 miles away, and then the brains of your car will be fried. Do not doubt the power of the black arts of the Apple electronics technician. Anyways, I gotta shut up or I'll just keep babbling.